Marshall. I play Harrison Dula on Star Wars Rebels, and you're watching The Cyber Nerds. Fan for life. May the Force be with you.
We are live. Guys, welcome back to the Cyber Nerds Sith Temple Rebels review. And today, carrying on from last time, we have In the Name of Rebellion Part 2. So, Joe, your thoughts on this, sir?
I've got very mixed emotions. Do you know what, yeah?
You've been having mixed emotions.
That's exactly what I was about to get to. I feel like I've had mixed emotions for every episode of the season so far. Like, I like the episodes, I like the direction they're going. Obviously, direction, animation, all the voice acting, all of that stuff is amazing. But there's just some things in it that I don't think are consistent.
Alright, cool.
But
so,
oh, go ahead.
So give me one of them.
Oh, so we're starting with negatives today. We'll start with negatives.
Yeah, I mean, if that's where you want to take it, let's.
I think some of the inconsistencies is just character based. Like last week it was Ezra for me, but this week it's definitely Saw Gerrera. Like there's a point in the episode where Saw Gerrera shoots a stormtrooper with a stun shot. Like he stuns him instead of like taking him out. Like this is Saw Gerrera we're talking about. Like I don't even know if he knows what the stun, how to use the stun option. Like
he didn't switch to kill mode.
Yeah, see, do you know what? Later in the episode, he just shoots someone straight up and kills them. But I was just like for me there was no consistency in that part. Like, and I know this is a small thing, but when you're dealing with,
it's not a small thing.
I'm just saying that
it's not, because you know what? It's funny because we picked it up. Straight away. It's not a small thing because we know who Saw Gerrera is.
True.
And when you know something is blatant, it's like he does something out of character, and we both picked it up right away. It's like, use the stun, really?
It's like cringe.
And yeah, it's actually cringe. Like he used the stun on someone. But yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. That's just bait stuff that you cannot be inconsistent with.
Yeah, so I didn't really like that about it. The one other thing is the Death Troopers. So there's a squadron of Death Troopers in this episode now. Yeah. There's two things that I didn't like about it. One, Death Troopers, when they speak, they have the muffled communications. Now I know this is Rebels and they want the audience to know what the trooper was saying to command. But I feel like you have to be consistent. Like we just watched a movie of Rogue One where when they speak, it's all muffled and outside people can't hear. So I feel like you got to keep that consistent. And the second part of the Death Troopers is they retreated, like they ran away twice, not once, but twice in this episode. And I'm like, in my mind, from seeing the Death Troopers in Rogue One, no surrender, no retreat. Like that's me. I might be wrong, but that's about
you ain't.
That's me.
There is nothing wrong with that analysis.
No surrender, no retreat.
You're on the ball there. Like
I didn't mind them getting taken out by Ezra and Saw Gerrera, because Ezra and Saw Gerrera at this point, like they're superior warriors. Like they can take out Death Troopers. Yeah, that's cool. But when the last one was like retreat, let's get out, and then started running, I was like,
yo,
that's not that's not in your job description. You don't do that.
There is a reason why you're a Death Trooper.
Yeah, bro.
Not a Stormtrooper, not a Sand Trooper, not a
jump trooper,
whatever
flame
it is.
trooper.
You know what I mean? You're a Death. Like
Death do us part, fam.
Blacked out.
Yeah,
and yeah, I completely, unless someone from I'm forgetting his name right now. I'll come back to me. Comes out and says, oh, there's a reason for this. Who's the dictionary? Star Wars dictionary.
Pablo Hidalgo.
Thank you, sir. Unless Pablo Hidalgo comes and says, hey, Joe Raven, this is the reason why it wasn't muffled and they ran away. Then I'm like,
yeah.
Alright, sir. Alright.
Yeah. Unless him or Dave Filoni say something, the Star Wars gods, unless they say something.
Then we ain't got nothing to complain about.
So. Have you got any negatives?
No, that's you was on the ball on that, bro. Cool. There's nothing to.
I'm glad we got them out of the way, because actually, like, I don't want anyone to jump in the comments saying, yeah, you're gonna be a negative, because I really like this episode. Like, it's a really good episode. It's a great continuation. You go with the positives.
Positives. Obviously, this being part 2, we find out the exact reason why Saw Gerrera rescued Ezra and Sabine.
I'm glad you
in the most polite way. And it's, you know, this war has been fought in different sides. So having that, just that little, you know, even though it's not it doesn't play a big part of Rebels and where this is gonna go, but it fills in on information on what was going on the other side. Obviously we're talking about Rogue One and how it got there. Also for me, it kind of answered my question that we spoke about last time when we was talking about, is Sabine's weapon based on the crystal? And
we didn't talk about that on camera.
Yeah, we didn't. So I find it appropriate for us to talk about it now, because it's like, now I'm kind of like certain that that's where they kind of started with the crystals. I feel that Sabine's weapon was the first test, and then it was like, oh, because you see it literally vaporizes people, so it's like, oh, so if you can make this into a bigger weapon
and use a different energy source,
then now, because obviously we was talking about you know, because he was shooting at rays, while with the Death Star it kind of like absorbs and then shoots, and we wasn't really sure about that. But now to me it kind of answered to me, Sabine's weapon were based being powered up by the small crystals.
I'm still going to disagree with that, because I don't think they was, but I do think that she built this weapon that wasn't, and then they was like, oh, this works really well, let's try it this way with this energy source. Because if her weapon was created by used kyber crystals to generate, then there's no need to have what's his name?
What, the engineers?
Yeah, no, not the engineers. That engineer. He's played by Mads Mikkelsen in Rogue One. What's his name? What's his actual name?
Oh, we're talking about
Krennic's boy.
The last name starts with an E. Urso.
What's his name?
Urso's last name's Urso.
Yeah. So,
Jin's dad, basically.
Yeah, Jin's dad.
That's who we're talking
so basically, about. I think like hers might have been like the rough blueprint. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then this is where you got to bring in the bigger guys, because we're talking about a bigger scale. You see?
Yeah, I get.
We just like, for me in this episode, we just get something. Saw Gerrera blast the security that kind of is containing the crystal. And then it's just shooting, and whatever radiation is picking up, it just shoots towards it. So we're just seeing like just the raw. We're not seeing like contained, and that's what they're trying to do. Like, and that's where I really think, you know, with the whole scenario is bringing the people, then bringing the power together, then to shoot it out, just like they did it with the Death Star. So.
It's a good theory, guys. Let us know what you know. Let us know what you think about that. Like, do you think Sabine's weapon was powered by kyber crystals or not? Alright, so moving on. Other positives from that.
Other positive is we get to see the emotion side of Saw Gerrera, because as the episode goes by and he's trying to explain to Ezra, and you know, Ezra's trying to talk some sense into him, and it's like, no, Ezra, until you're in this position, until you lose everything, you then understand where I'm coming from. And this is the problem between Saw and his partisans and the rebels, because they don't understand where he's coming from. He has nothing else to lose. He understands that, look, our enemies went this way and they got things done, and they literally got rid of my people. So we have to be in that same mentality to be able to fight these guys. We cannot fight, you know, fire war. It doesn't work that way. So it's just, and Ezra's starting to grasp, okay, the understanding of this war.
See, it's interesting to me because I think every episode since we started, Ezra takes that conflict differently. Like in the last episode, Ezra was like, yeah, I agree with Saw Gerrera. But this episode, he was like, no, I'm gonna fight the other way. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can clearly see that Ezra is conflicted with this. But I felt when Saul dropped the line, when you lose everything, or what would you do to save your world? When he said those things, I thought that Ezra was gonna be like, yeah, you're right. But he was like, no, you're wrong. But I think that is definitely gonna come back. Like, well, 100% it's coming back later on in the season. because I do think, like, I'm leading over to your side, like I'm thinking that this is going to be the reason Ezra goes.
They're setting it up.
Yeah,
setting it up
goes
nicely.
over to the dark side.
Setting it up.
Another positive I really like is, like, I just love, because Star Wars does this better than anything. Just fills in gaps. Like, we watched Rogue One a month ago last year, and in that year, like, we've just been getting filled in with everything that's going on. Like, I've never seen a kyber crystal as big as the one we saw in Rebels today, and it's like they're just giving us all this extra added information that's letting us know what's just filling in the gaps, and that's what I love about Star Wars.
Yeah,
so
until this episode, the only kyber crystals I've seen like this big. Yeah, so, you know, and now we're getting some gigantic kyber crystal, and was it green?
Yeah, it was green.
Massive, you know. So
and it was a crazy order. Like, lots of names got dropped. Obviously, they dropped Krennic's name. They spoke about Jeddah. Like, we're really getting deep into this Rogue One stuff. Like, so I think that war, like that first war with the first Death Star, like the build up to that is gonna be the finale of this season. But I think so too. I think that's where they're pushing it towards. Is like, and then we kind of get it, which is really cool. Because now you can get, like, it just adds up to our collections of Blu-rays, so you can literally you're literally putting the timeline together. The thing,
and it's so cool.
What else is crazy is that, like, it's gonna be right on top of Rogue One to the point where, like, you could get cameos from, like, Cassian Andor. You could get cameos from Jyn Erso. Like, she could everyone in Rogue One could potentially be in this episode of Rebels, and I'm not really excited about stuff like that, but for this I am, because it's like Rogue One was a brand new story. Do you know what I'm saying? And now Rebels is like they're so closely connected. Like, you never had that. Like, even when, like, it's like the Clone Wars came out like 7 years after the prequels.
Right.
This Rogue One came out last year, and this came out 2 weeks ago.
You have to.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, I'm just like, I'm gassed at how closely everything's connected, but I'm really excited to watch the next episode. So I just want to see what's gonna happen there.
Marty.
Alright guys, well, jump in the comment section below and let us know what you think about this episode of Star Wars Rebels. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think about the Death Troopers? What did you think about Saw Gerrera using a stun?
Hey. Also, don't forget, guys, if you're able to support us, be able to help us keep pushing this, make sure you jump on Patreon, okay? It could be £1, a penny, okay? Everything that can come in and help us out will be great, and we appreciate it too. And obviously you guys will get a lot better content from us too, and more consistent too. Anything else on that?
Not really. Sign up on Patreon. I'm Joe, 1/3 of the Cyber Nerds.
And I'm Raven the GS.
And we'll see you on the next Rebels review.